Now, 2 days after completion of the public participation on the Finance Bill 2024, members of the public have taken the fight to their area representatives, urging them to reject the bill. In a strange twist to drive the no campaign, members of the public posted phone numbers of President William Ruto and members of parliament on social media platforms, especially X, formerly Twitter, and called on all Kenyans to call or text them to vote no. Finance and Planning Committee Chairperson Kuria Kimani, who was among those targeted, said their views will be considered and that the final report will be ready for debate by next week, Tuesday.
At the footsteps of National Treasury building, an unusual visitor came knocking just as the National Treasury Cabinet Secretary, Professor Njuguna Ndung'u, was preparing to depart for Parliament buildings. A lone protester demonstrating against the Finance Bill 2024 was whisked away by police officers as he attempted to reach Professor Ndung'u. But what the officers did not know was that the anger expressed by the lone protester had taken effect on social media platforms in the country. Kenyans on X, formerly Twitter, had from Wednesday evening started a campaign to reject the Finance Bill 2024. Part of the campaign was to post numbers of top leaders in the country over the finance bill and push Kenyans to contact them to reject the bill.
2025.
President William Ruto's cell number was among those shared. Other numbers shared were those of members of parliament who will have the final say on the final report. The pressure which targeted MPs from both the ruling coalition and the opposition elicited mixed reactions from the legislators, with a section of those in the opposition promising to vote no, while others were non-committal.
Standing orders to
Others like KO South MP Gideon Kimayo even joked with those calling and texting him to send him some cash. The man on the hot seat, Finance Committee Chairman Kuria Kimani, who suffered the wrath of Kenyans, promising that the views will be considered during the committee's retreat ahead of the tabling of the bill next week.
But I've actually received close to 3,000 messages trickling in every second, with 50% of them being very vulgar, insultive and weird demands, telling us, calling us MPs, others telling us you must vote as I told you. There was public participation. The report will be tabled in Parliament next week. We'll see, we'll weigh the report as it is and then vote for or against, depending on how the report will come forth.
Don't tell me reject finance bill. Tell me what don't you like in that finance bill, because there are also other things that are within the finance bill that are good for Kenyans. So you cannot just throw the baby with the water. We need to really be careful and see what are we have to sift and say this one we can amend it and this one is good for Kenyans.
That one I can assure you there will be no walkout. That one will make sure I'm actually addressing as a whip a letter to all our members that it is mandatory for them to be in Parliament. And every time we are discussing the finance bill, whether it is in the second reading or third reading, all of them must be there. And this time, absence will not be allowed.
National Assembly Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah, while defending MPs from those pushing the campaign to reject the Finance Bill 2024, called for patience ahead of its tabling next week.
It will be important for members of the public to get the understanding that these are just the revenue-raising measure statement, not the finance bill. I know many of these members have been harassed by members of the public on matters touching on voting. There will be no voting today, Honorable Speaker, on anything.
The social media push, which has rattled the legislators, points to the fear among majority of Kenyans who are opposed to some proposals in the finance bill that, if passed, will make their lives hard amidst tough economic times.